Top of the top, that's the HVAC. We out here, baby. Give you guys another Infield video of what I be out here doing on a daily basis. Been doing it for a while. I'm down by the water today. Beautiful day. Love the way it feels. I'm doing a routine heat startup. It's part of the maintenance. I'm not touching no filters or belts today. Right now, I'm just cycling everything in the heat just to make sure it comes on, stays on for about 2-3 minutes. And then we'll go from there. I checked that one already. Heat came on just fine. Seems like it's working out pretty good there. So I came to this one. And even though I'm not dealing with the belts and the filters today, you still want to give everything an overall look. Because if the belt is broken, how's the heat going to work? Or the air conditioning going to work? Or just things in general like that. So I came to this unit. As you know, these are the famous trane units. Shout out to Trane. We do a lot of work on those. I came, open up the unit. I inspect everything. Open up this compartment. Visually inspect the belt, the filters, coil, things of that nature. I walked around the unit. I removed this panel so I can inspect the heat exchanger. If you see any cracks or if you see any holes or any rusted out cracks on the heat exchangers, you guys want to recommend to get those heat exchangers changed out while the weather is still nice. Because you don't want to be changing the heat exchanger in the middle of the winter. So that checked out good. I came over here. I turned my unit back on because I had turned it off for a minute so I could check the belt. Turned it back on, and as you know, these units, the famous test mode, you can run these in. If you jump out these two tests, if you short these out right here, you'll cycle through all the modes of these units. So you'll put your jumper on, fan will come on. If you leave the jumper on, it'll cycle through all the test modes by itself. Leave the jumper on there. I think it spends about 4 minutes, 5 minutes on each mode. So if you leave your jumper on there, so if I leave a jumper on test 1 and test 2, it'll cycle through all the modes. So it'll stay in coolant, it'll stay on fan for 5 minutes, then it'll jump in air conditioning, it'll turn on the first circuit for 5 minutes, then it'll turn on the second circuit, 5 minutes. These are tandem compressors too, by the way. I love those things. So when I did my test mode, air conditioning ran fine, fan ran fine. But then when I came to the heat, I noticed that the heat, it was like stuttering, like my inducer fan came on, but then if you guys know anything about heat, the inducer fan will come on, but then when the actual heat kicks on, you'll hear like it'll sound like the unit's coughing, or it'll sound like it's coughing from here, like it'll make like a coughing noise in the machine world, basically, to paraphrase it. So I noticed that, I reset it a couple of times. I tried to do a test mode. I did that about 2 or 3 times. And then that's when I said, okay, I got to take this panel off and start investigating a little bit more. As I'm investigating, before I took the hot surface igniter off, because a lot of times those screws are breaking there. These screws are break because it's be so rusty, from the heat, the moisture. It'll just rust the screw out. And that becomes a whole new headache, trust me, because then you got to drill a new hole and all this nonsense. But the igniter still got to be in the correct position so it could catch the gas that's coming out. So anyway, before I took the screws out of there, I verified this was working. Well, first I knew it was working because you could smell the gas coming out. Before it fires up, you could smell pilot gas being let out. So I smelled that. And then I actually tested and made sure I had 24 volts come in here. I took this thing off. This guy plugs into my hot surface igniter. I verified that I had 120 volts there, plugged it back up, tried it again. The unit coughed again. Heat comes on for about 10 seconds. So I know my gas valve is working. I know my inducer's working. I even checked my safeties for the hell of it. There's one in here, one right there. You guys can see it. The sun is in my eye. So there's one right here. And then there's another one inside this housing. Those checked out good. So I said, okay, fuck it, we got to do it. I removed the screws from the hot surface igniter, and voila, look what I found. So this thing is all corroded, and it probably was getting hot. That's because you could touch this part before you even take it out of there. You could touch this part and you could feel if it's getting really hot. It was getting really hot. Took it out anyway, and I found this broken off. So we're gonna write up to replace that. And when I write it up, I'm gonna make sure I write once hot surface igniter is replaced. We'll check the operation of heating, and you cover yourself like that, because if you replace the hot surface igniter and then let's per se something else happens, you give yourself room to write that up also. So that was just a quick infill video of what we're doing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's help this grow so my videos could get more better and better as I do them. Stay tuned, all my fellow tradesmen and future skilled people. Enjoy.